Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another Sparkle and Shine interview series presentation. Today, I have the lovely Anna Furu here with us. And just in case you're not really sure what you're watching or who you're looking at, I'm Kendall Patton of New York and Content Creation Services, where I work with entrepreneurs and business owners to repurpose their content so they can maximize and leverage their time, energy, and the content they've already created. And this Sparkle and Shine series is just about talking to other entrepreneurs, other women, other business owners, and talking about life and how that weaves into business and all that good stuff. So, like I said, today we have the lovely Anna Furu of Anna Furu Coaching, where she is a mindset and life coach that specializes in helping women entrepreneurs create a CEO mindset and work-life balance. I have Anna here on the program because I think she's absolutely lovely. She's super fun. And I imagine that we're going to be having a lot of laughter as we talk about self-love and self-care. This month's theme is snuggling, family, loving, giving, and receiving. Perfect for November. So I can't wait to dive in. And Anna, if you could just please introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you.
Hey, everybody, and thank you so much, Kendall, for having me. Such an honor.
You're welcome. I love you.
I love you, girl. I love you so much. So, as you said, I'm a mindset and life coach for female entrepreneurs and specifically social media coaches who are, they're already established, their business is up and running, but they're looking to scale. So I help them to, set up a really good mindset practice so that they can create that CEO mindset and get rid of, the imposter syndrome, comparison, self-doubt, and all of the self-sabotaging things that we all have, right?
Yeah.
Because that's really what distinguishes, the really successful entrepreneurs from those who are, haven't really reached their full potential. So I help them with the mindsets part and also, the sustainability part of not burning out,
Yes.
which, by the way, is so common, right?
Yes, it is. And the thing is, Anna, okay, wait. First of all, let's make sure that for those of us, those of our audience who maybe aren't very familiar with you and are like, who is this girl with this funny accent? I don't think your accent is funny, but it's definitely not a fully American accent. So tell everybody where you're joining us from, because I think that's part of the cool part of all this stuff we do online.
Right. So I speak Swinglish, as we call it, because I come from Sweden. But I did study abroad in Oklahoma, so some people say that I have like a Okie accent. I don't
A
know.
little bit, yeah, a little bit, but your Sweden definitely comes out. But right now, wait. Now, did you and your husband make it? Are you and your husband still in the Netherlands?
No, we're in Sweden,
Oh,
honey.
you did. Okay, all right. I was like, did she tell me she made it back home?
Uh, oh yeah. The Norway. Yeah, we were on
Norway.
like this wild road trip the whole summer. So
Right. Okay,
gotcha.
right. Yes. I was like, wait, did she make it home? But anyways, so that's a really fun thing about you, Anna. But you are a business owner and you do operate in the online space, which is part of the reason you can like kind of just go have a big trip adventure all summer. But tell us a little bit about how you can weave in sort of that mindset, self-care, self-love stuff while you travel and run a business. Like, how is that possible?
So I'm an empath or a highly sensitive person, and so for me, it's like my body. If I don't take care of myself, like I, things will go bad. Like that, I've reached that point in my relationship with my body where we're like, okay, these are the boundaries, and I stick with them because I burnt out when I was 23, and then I had chronic fatigue for 5 years after that. So I've been, in a place where I had no respect for my body, for my needs, taking no care of myself. So today I really like, that's my main priority. So when I travel, you know, I always make sure to, first of all, ground myself. So if I'm tired, I rest. Like that's the top priority. And I think that that's what so many of us miss, especially us female entrepreneurs who are high achievers. And we're like, I have to get this and this and this and this done. If I don't get that done, you know, I can't rest until that's done. So we will neglect sleep and rest and self-care. But I guess it's just a matter of like, if you've really run yourself, you know, too hard, like I did, and you get something like a burnout, chronic fatigue, it's just so scary that you don't want to go there again, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I fortunately, fingers crossed, have not yet had to suffer with chronic fatigue. However, I recognize and I am aware that I'm probably not far off much of the time because high achieving female mom, wife, business owner, homeschooler, like just tick them off. Exactly. Like just tick them all off because I'm like on the brink of like sending myself down this spiral. And you know, I have had to take like really big breaks. As an introvert myself, obviously, and a Scorpio sun sign, for those of you astrology energy people, I can be really intense. But I also can feel like a lot and I can think a lot. And so there's a lot happening here and here, like all the time, like literally all the time. I can like think while I'm having a very intense conversation about something that's totally unrelated and still stay in the conversation. It's pretty crazy. But and it serves me well. Like I've learned mostly how to work with that. And I say mostly because I think we're always learning and we're always on a journey. But that fatigue and that learning to rest and all that stuff, it's such a struggle. You know, I go through it at least once a month. I have like a week of like, oh my Lord, what is happening?
Yeah.
At least 1 week. Now, don't let me get sick. Like I have a cold right now. I'm ending a cold, but like that doesn't help. It doesn't
Yeah.
help because I need more rest. So I totally get what you're saying. And I hate being in that place. I hate it so much. So how can we as women, as entrepreneurs, business owners, how is it that we can learn to start to listen a little bit more? How can we do that? How can we love ourselves and make sure that we are both giving ourselves enough and giving out enough in a balanced way? How can we do that, Anna?
Yeah. So in any relationship, like if you really love someone, if you, let me say it like this, if you really want to show love and care for someone, what do you have to do? Well, you have to learn to listen to them. And we all know this as we are all children, right? And we know our parents, they love us to death, but not always are they super good at listening to us, you know. And I use this analogy because if we are serious about taking care of ourselves so we don't burn out and so we can build sustainable success, we need to listen to our bodies. And that's the worst cliche you find, right? Everyone talks about it. You need to listen to your body, but how do we do it?
Yeah. What does that mean?
Yes. Well, the problem is that we are all up here. And this was true for me as well. Like I lived from like 13 years old and onwards, I lived like here all the time. Like you are as well, Kendall, like a high achieving, super smart woman. And we live up here. Like, as you say, we think all the time and we're like constantly thinking future, past, like analyzing, strategizing.
Yep.
We're up here.
Yep.
And so we cannot listen to our body until we start to feel our body. And this is very new when, you know, in the beginning, but literally like mindfulness practices, like I'm a mindfulness and meditation teacher as well. And that's really what saved my ass, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally. I
Yeah.
had to start to listen. Okay, like, usually we don't notice that something's wrong until we have like super high stress or super high anxiety, and we're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Well, it's because our body sent us subtle signals for a long time and we ignored them until it was like avalanche.
Screaming. Yeah. It's like screaming and like terrorizing you. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And that mindfulness piece is, I think, is interesting. The mindfulness awareness is another big word that I use. Um, and like paying attention is a big phrase, but it all means the same thing at the end of the day, because what it means for me anyway, and the things that I've had to learn over time is that I have to actually and actually I can do it while I'm talking, which is sort of why I paused and didn't realize I was doing it, but I'm talking about it. And so like I sometimes just naturally start doing it. It's such a habit, but it's like I just have to check, like, does anything hurt? Does anything feel weird? Like, am I sitting in a way, like right now, I have one of my legs sitting in my chair a certain way. And so, like, one of the support bars on the super edge is like kind of digging in, and I need to move that leg. And it's something as simple as like not waiting until my leg hurts because it's been sitting on that piece for so long. I need to just move my leg. And it's that simple. Or like I have some little like bug bite over here or something, and so I keep rubbing it, but I have to notice, like, stop rubbing it, because I'm not making it feel better, I'm actually making it feel worse. And it's just really simple things. Now, obviously, in a lot of the work you do with your clients and stuff, Anna, you're going to go a little deeper than that physical. Like, I talked about some physical things, and I want to hear from you how people can start to incorporate notice your physical so that you can start to notice your deeper, because your deeper is the mindset stuff and the real love. Like, that's when you are really loving and giving yourself stuff, is when you go to that slightly deeper place, and then like you go super high level and like really deep, which I'm sure you get into with clients. But just in a general way, how can people go from, okay, I've started to notice my physical, how do I start to check in with my, I say mental, but like with myself? Like, how do I start to check in with my internals and my feelings? Tell people how you, like, you don't tell people how you do it, but like tell us really briefly, like, what's a way that people can start doing that if they haven't before, or if they just need to like refresh.
Right. So there is always like a, progression here. So I think many of us always think that I have to be here right away, otherwise it's not worth my time. But as you say, we need to start slow. And what you just mentioned is really good. Like, just notice, like, what am I feeling in my body right now? And it's good to focus on like pain or discomfort, because usually those things are stuff that our brains tend to focus on more easily than the good stuff.
Yeah.
We can train our brain to focus on the good stuff, but usually by nature it's more focused on the negative. So just I think the main thing is that you need to pause. So, because we're always running in our head, like the next thing, like, well, okay, I've done that, now I need to focus on this. And we're constantly moving in our head. And so by just like taking 30 seconds, literally,
Mm-hmm.
of just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just like feeling your body, and like, okay, what am I feeling in my gut right now? Breathing a little bit. What you can do my body scan, like, starting anywhere, like from your toes. Like if you meditate, start from your feet and feel your way up through your legs, all the way through your body. But generally, if you want to do something quick right now, I recommend that you just close your eyes, take one deep breath, and just feel your gut, your chest, and your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you just take another deep breath. And there you go. You have been mindful.
Right. And I'll tell you, so I didn't close my eyes, but but
It's
but
okay.
but I totally know what you mean, and that deep breath. And I'll say this, like, probably because we're on screen right now, like, my hands were tingly, but not a bad tingly. It's sort of like that. It's not a nervous tingly. It's sort of like an excited tingly, because I love these interviews. And so my hands, when I checked in while you were showing us, I'm like, my hands are doing it again. And it's really cool because, and like you said, Anna, like, we can train ourselves to notice the good stuff too, because in the past, like, I would have been like, why are my hands tingling? This is so weird. Because I would have went totally back to that headspace of like, what's going on? How do I fix it? What do I need to do? Da 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 da. Right? Like, what's this interruption? Right? But over time, obviously, like, I've learned, like, oh, that's actually a good tingle. That's different from the bad tingle that I can feel. Like, for instance, when I get pregnant, which is not happening anymore, knock on wood. So, but no. But when I have been pregnant, I always get really, really, really awful carpal tunnel, and there's nothing I can do about it, really. It's just part of the process for my body. And
Really?
yeah, yeah, yep, because the swelling and like the fluid gain and all that. So for my body, I get it really awfully, and I can always tell when I'm getting very close to the time when it starts to actually become a problem, because I have it most of the pregnancy, but not until like the last, 8 weeks or so, when you're like ready to give birth anyway. um, but that's when I'm the most swollen and the most like full of extra water and extra fluid and all that stuff in weight. And so I can always tell 1 or 2 weeks beforehand, because it becomes like a constant tingle, as opposed to like something that happens when I'm using it. And like there's a peak and valley, like, use your wrist and it'll flare up. But there's a point where I can feel it start to really tingle. And to me, that's a bad tingle. And so I know, even when I'm not pregnant, that I need to pay attention to my hands and whether or not I have that tingle. And because I create content, I'm constantly on the computer, like, doing this,
Yeah.
constantly
Yeah.
typing. So I need to pay attention to that, so that I can rest and I can let my body. So I love that you said the 30-second, just take a deep breath. And I would venture to say, I mean, obviously you're a mindset coach, and so you teach this stuff. And so I'm sure that you've had the experience, maybe with yourself or with clients, where they find that maybe they don't even need that 30 seconds to check in. Like, it can become a practice where, like, you can probably do a quick body scan in like 5 or 10 seconds. Nobody even knows you did it. And that, I think, is also a really cool thing, that comes with, like you said, practice. You can't start at 5 or 10 seconds. You've got to start at 30 seconds, or heck, like 45 minutes. I mean,
Yeah.
what's a nap? What's a nap? It's a way to check in, right? Even if you take like a
Yeah.
10-minute nap, it's still that same kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
but let's circle back just a little bit, because you shared a little touch of how you got into doing the mindset work, um, or yeah, doing the mindset work for yourself, and then later, having this business that helps female entrepreneurs. But tell us a little bit about how you decided that you wanted to also become, like, because you do in-person things. So how did you decide how to do all these things at once? How did you decide to do that? What was the bridge, I guess, to bring you to the online space, is maybe what I'm asking.
Yeah. So for me, I am a teacher by profession. So like, I love the teaching part. And then I've always had this dream of supporting people uh, on a deeper level, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's been like the biggest dream for me since, you name it, like the secret dream. But my mind has always been telling me, like, that's not possible. Like, just let it go. You can't live up to that. All the bullshit. So I listened to that and I was like, okay, I can't do that. Okay, but I love teaching and supporting people to grow. How can I do that? Okay, teaching. So, and I love languages. So, and I was really passionate about it, empowering people to grow, because languages are like the bridge to success. So if you're good with that, you have it. But so for me, it was really like the burnout that was like my purgatory spiritual journey, where it was literally like the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, basically put down his foot or whatever you want to call it, and was like, right, Anna, now we're gonna stop this bullshit and you are gonna go straight to source and do what you came here for. So after that, I just had such intense messages from my inner voice, or I call it my inner voice. You could call it your intuition, your soul. Yeah. And it was just like, it just put me in these weird situations where, like, I had a friend who was like, hey, Anna, and she was talking about these online coaches a lot. And I was like, what are they, like, online? Who do you think they are? Like, literally, like, what is this? And then, I bought a manifestation course, actually. And then I went ahead and I hired my first life coach and paid like $4,000 in full to do that. And that just completely changed my life, because he helped me to bust all the limiting beliefs that were hindering me, and helped me to uncover what my true purpose was. And that is to coach women to, step into their full power.
Right. So they don't hit that burnout piece, or they can come out of it if they have hit it or are really close to it. And I think that's really powerful. I also think it's really powerful, and there's such a lesson in that part of your journey where you were like, but I bought a life coach myself. Like, I didn't know what else to do, and I had already been burnt out, and I had this chronic fatigue syndrome, and I just knew that I was supposed to do something, and I needed help. And so I got a life coach and I got help. And I think that's really powerful, because I think sometimes as business owners, either wherever you are in your business ownership journey, right? I think sometimes we always have this like almost natural resistance to asking for help if we're already high achieving, like, people, like goal driven women and stuff. I think we have this sort of natural resistance, like, I know I need help with that, but I got it. And then it's like, do you really got it? Like, I have to ask myself that all the time, like, Kendall, are you going to keep doing this? No, you're not happy doing it. Okay, what are you going to do about not being happy, right? And that's why it's helpful to have a coach, whether it be a mindset coach, like whatever it is that you need help with. If that's what the thing that is so helpful, like you specifically help women with like mindset and like that CEO and that balance and all that stuff, the self-love, like you just weave it all in, because it is all part of life and business ownership. However, like, if you're like stuck on like one thing in business, then go talk to a business coach, go talk to a business strategist. Like, that's what you got to do. If you like want to up your marketing game, then that's who you need to talk to. Like, you just can't. And so I love that you shared that part about your own journey. Like, listen, before I even had this online business, I had to go get help so that I could get ready to have an online business and to like build this in something other than, what I'm used to doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really pivotal, because so what I see in like the progression of female entrepreneurs is that, in the beginning, we're like, yeah, I want to create a business, and you're looking around, like trying to DIY it. And then you're like, okay, I understand now that I cannot DIY it. I have to get a coach somehow. So we invest in a business coach, which is the first step. And then we usually, like, some people get stuck there.
Yeah.
They just invest in business coaching or, some kind of business masterminds and just business related, which is great. We all need that, right?
Yeah.
But what I see is that, the ones who really reach like the outrageous success, what distinguishes them is that they work, yes, they invest in their business, definitely, but they also invest in themselves.
Sorry, I'll cut that out. Go ahead.
Yeah, they also invest in themselves, like in a life coach or a mindset coach to figure out, especially it starts with like mindset, like they understand that if I want to be really successful, what is standing in my way is literally mindset, right? I don't think I'm good enough, that I deserve it, that they have money issues or whatever it is. We all have that stuff. And so having a life coach or a mindset coach really helps you. And I am also a huge supporter of that we should have a therapist at some point in our lives. Like, I'm not a therapist, I don't do that, but I've definitely been through therapy. And I 100% believe that all of us who want to really reach tremendous success, we need to kind of clear out our closet, so to say, and declutter. I love decluttering.
Yeah.
You like decluttering?
Yeah. There's so many different ways to declutter. I love the way you're bringing that in. So keep going. Yeah, I love that.
Yes, and that's literally what it's about. Like going to therapy or doing life coaching, all it does is help you to declutter the old limiting beliefs and habits and patterns of thinking that are really sabotaging your success and your health even,
And I now, obviously, with the background in social work, like, I'm all about the whole counseling bit, right?
Right.
And obviously, like, I see such a line, a connection between all sorts of coaching, that even business coaching to some degree, right? But all sorts of coaching, I see such a line between that and therapy, right? Because at the end of the day, all that you're doing is like working on yourself. You're just working on like different aspects of yourself. And what I always find really interesting, and I have to remind myself of this, even trained to like do the counseling bit, right? Is that I have to remind myself all the time that A, I can't do it all at once. And B, like, there's gonna be something new that comes up, but I don't need to go looking for it because it's gonna show up on its own. And I know, I know for a fact that when you're working with women who are business owners and they're working on that CEO, like fully establishing and fully leaning into that CEO mindset and really creating that next level in their business and their life. I know that you see people and you hear from people all the time, all of your clients, I'm sure. Probably every single client says, oh my God, I don't know where this came from, but it just came up. Like, let's work on this. Doesn't that happen?
It does, yes. Because like, I love, Tony Robbins. I love, his documentary, I'm Not Your Guru. And I thought that he had such a beautiful example there of, she was very young, such a beautiful, bright girl. And, he was like, okay, anyone in the audience who has something they want help with, and, he picked her, and he was like, what is your problem? She was like, my diet. And he was like, okay, tell me. She was like, well, I'm not really, treating myself the way I want to. And like, I'm not really giving myself the food I need to feel good. And he was like, of course, digging deeper. And what they ended up finding was that it was actually a self-love problem, which it always is, where, she had a turbulent relationship with her dad, and he really supported her to, get clear on what she wanted, what she needed, and how she could communicate with her dad to, solve that problem so that she could, feel, because standing up for yourself in relationships where you are not getting what you deserve, that's a powerful act of self-love, right? So it's exactly as you say, like, as a coach, you have to really listen and help your clients with what they want.
Mm-hmm.
But usually in that process, the client can, see something else, which will be like the next level of their development. So, and that's why it's so exciting. Like, that's why I love it, because it's like going down the rabbit hole, literally.
Yes, yes. And it's so, I love the way you said, like, how it does that, and like going down the rabbit hole, or, spiraling. There is such a thing, at least I believe so. There is such a thing as a negative spiral and a positive spiral, right? So often when people talk, in my opinion, about positive spirals, they talk about like climbing the stairs, right? But you have to think, and like like people think of the negative spiral as like going down deep, right? But what's really interesting, I think, is that they're actually one and the same.
Yeah.
They just happen to flip flop. Like, you can negatively spiral upwards, right? And like, not, okay, we're not going to turn this into like teach therapy, right? But think about, like, most people, okay, right. So anxiety is a part of life, okay? Let's just operate from that. It is a natural, normal human response to stimulus. Let's just operate from anxiety as a part of life. However, the more we spiral negatively, we can actually spiral that anxiety up and up and up. We can create things like panic attacks or actual like anxiety disorders where we're constantly anxious and we can never come back to stasis, right? Or you can negatively spiral to depression, right? Where you're like really down and like your body at that point is very depressed and things like that. It can be very similar to chronic fatigue.
Yeah.
And positively, tell us an example. Like, I could do it, but it's what you do. So tell us, like, give us an example of how people can positively spiral upwards or downwards.
Yeah. So actually, I would say that for me, there is no negative downward spiral. Like, literally, that's not how I see it.
Okay.
And the reason is because if you would have asked me like 7 years ago or so, absolutely, I would have been thinking that. But my burnout taught me, like, at the beginning, I was like, this is the worst thing. Like, I'm in hell. Like, this is the worst thing. My life is ruined. Like, everything is just bullshit. Like, my body broke down, my brain broke down. My memory got really impaired, and like all these kinds of things. And it was just terrible, with lots of stress and anxiety, of course. And so I thought that was like the end of my life. But afterwards, when I started to, work with myself and work with it, what I discovered was that the burnout literally burned away all the bullshit.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And I realized that, why did I even burn out in the first place? Well, number one, because I was people pleasing my ass off. I was, running on so much fear all the time. And there was no self-love in my life. Like, I didn't think I was worth anything in myself, which was why I was trying to overcompensate it with overachieving, over-exercising, people-pleasing, all the things relating to work and all of that. So basically, the burnout really forced me to stop. Literally, I couldn't move almost for a long time. And that really had me in this, spiritual journey of like, okay, who am I? Like, I've lost my strength. I was such a sports girl, always exercising, and I lost my some of my intellectual capacity, you know, because it really affects the brain. I lost mainly all the things that was like, I was a super helper. I helped
Yeah.
everyone all the time, and I couldn't do any of those things because I didn't have the energy for it. And so I really had to dig deep, like, who am I now when I don't have these things?
Mm-hmm.
And so that to me shows that, and I've talked to many people who have had, whether it's like, you know, cancer or you name it, like I've just seen and talked to so many people who are like, yeah, it was like hell, but it was the downward spiral that literally sent me upwards, as you say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would like to say to anyone who is going through something tough. And what we think when we're in the middle of it is like, God, I'm such a mess. Like I'm screwed up, you know, I've ruined things. But if you just have the courage to work with and really be present in this, it could be like literally the greatest gift. And of course, I really recommend that you seek someone to help you. Like, I just want to say this, Kendall, like if I could change one thing, it would be that I would have sought out help earlier.
Yeah.
And support. As you said, like when I invested in my first life coach, it changed my life. And had I done that, if I hadn't been DIYing it myself for so long, I probably could have avoided the burnout, literally, honestly.
Yeah. I totally understand. I love, and just to go back just for a quick second, I love how you said that the negative spiral actually is what leads you to the negative downward spiral is actually what leads you to those low places. But those low places, the thing I really loved in the way that you say it is that the low places is what strips away all the BS that you like. I love the way you said that, because that's actually it, isn't it? Like, isn't that it every single time when we get to that place where we really hit that wall and we're like, I've hit this wall. So instead of like, I've hit this wall, I've hit this wall, I've hit this wall, right? We're like, shoot, I hit the wall. And you sort of are like, I hit the wall. And then you stand up and you're like, okay, so I hit the wall and I need this or don't need this, or this went away or that went away. And like, that is, I love the way you said that. I think that was so perfect and so much better, so much more well said than the spiral business I was talking about. Cause it just, and you do spiral.
Yeah. But also you can spiral positively, as you said, you know, because what happens is that, so, and this ties into what you said earlier, like if you're trying to just soldier on your own, like and this is the bottom line, like we have so much shame around in our culture to ask for support. Especially as high achieving women, it's like, it's shameful to not be able to figure everything out on your own, like
and do it all. So figure it out and do it all.
Exactly. Figure it out and do it all. Like, and that's just not how we are as people. Like, look at us as a species. We are social beings, you know, and we learn from each other. We grow together. Literally, like, people are like, I can read a book, you know, I don't need anyone else. But think about this. The book is the voice of someone else. You're learning from another person. It's just through a different medium. So, you know, and it's just like, if you are willing to really, and this is all about self-love, right? Because as I said, business owners, the first stage is that they invest in their business because that's their dream. But then you really have to recognize that you are worthy of living a better life, you know, being more happy, being more at peace, feeling more free. And that's, if you don't get to that stage, you won't invest in yourself to, you know, work on yourself. And that's like what I want people to know, is that, you know, you are worthy of living even better. It's not to say that you are doing anything wrong or that you're not good enough. It's just like, imagine just a gift.
Yeah.
And you know this.
Yeah.
The gift, like you help people with their content. And instead of this entrepreneur trying to do it all themselves and burning themselves out, they can invest in you and give themselves that support.
Yep.
So that they can really reach the next level of success, right?
Exactly. And that's exactly what happens. And I think that this part of our conversation is a perfect segue into our Starlight round of questions. So we have these Starlight round of questions that have these 3 questions. It's just 3 questions. I think they're pretty simple, but they have a little element of deep. And that's why I think it's such a perfect segue from what we've been talking about right now about, investing in ourselves and doing that growth stuff that is necessary in our lives and in our businesses. And so if you would, then I will ask you the questions. The only caveat is you cannot self-edit. Do not, Anna, self-edit. You have to say the first thing comes to your head, okay? You want to do it?
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's do it then. Okay, here we go. All right. Share with us your biggest dream goal for 2020.
2020 is to really reach more women through my coaching and on Instagram, where I'm more, and creating more connections. So that's really where I'm at in my business.
Okay.
Coaching more women and helping them to reach their next level with the mindset stuff, and really making sure that they set up a self-care system so they don't burn out. Like, that's my main goal.
Yeah, right. Okay, I love it. And that's a great dream goal, because as we all know, 2020 is just around the corner, and businesses that haven't already gotten started will be getting started in the next, I'd say 3 to 4 months. So there's going to be plenty of people. And then those of us who've been around are reaching that next level and setting our own next dream goals. And so we just might need that little, I need to work on this mindset stuff a little bit more, or a little bit deeper. So I love that you just want to keep helping women, and you just want to help more of them save themselves from the burnout. So that's a great dream goal. Okay, now, what was your biggest personal change in the process of building your business?
Stepping out of fear, or letting go of fear, letting go of control.
Yep. Those are big ones. I still struggle with those a little bit, but those are definitely big ones for me too. I totally get it.
I think all of us have such huge blocks around being visible and, going on social media and sharing both your, some personal parts of you as well as what you do. So that's been the main one.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last question, what is your biggest life or business challenge right now? How would you like to see that change? And what can we do to help you?
My biggest business or life?
Business or life.
Okay. So my biggest life challenge right now is that I'm trying to, so I live in a little village in the northeast of Sweden, and I chose to come here. I lived for 12 years in the capital, but I wanted to get back to my roots and into nature. And we have good Wi-Fi here, so.
Yay!
But my main goal here, or struggle, is that there are pretty long distances, and I want to start to get out more and do more self-care activities that are fun, such as climbing, which I love, dancing, and I have to travel a bit. So that's my struggle right now, but I'm getting there.
Okay. So maybe we need to get you like a one of those time machines, right? Those little, you're just there.
Yes. That would be great. I'd love that. Or like a private, you know, jet plane or something
Yep.
that runs on renewable fuel or
Yeah.
something.
Or how about this? What if we just brought the activities closer to you?
Kendall, I know you dance. Can you come here and hold a dance class for me?
We can go dance and like have fun. Yeah. I don't know if it would be so much of a class as like a big cacophony of like
Or we
bodies
could
and
do like
noise. But
online dance parties
yeah, we could totally do that. Live online dance parties. What? You said you've got good Wi-Fi. Maybe we should try it.
in your Facebook group. Here we go.
Maybe. Hey, maybe so. I mean, Friday is Fellowship Friday in the group, so that's a good way to fellowship. I always find good fellowship when I dance with like friends, like girlfriends. It's been a while for me because I like little kids and they don't
I
they don't
know
dance
you
the
need
way I
this just as
dance.
much as I do. Please lead the way.
Maybe we should do this, Anna. We will definitely talk about this and think about it. Okay, those are the three questions. I think they're really, really awesome, Anna. And before we go, first, I just want to say thank you again for being on the show. And I want to say thank you for sharing so much of yourself and your journey and your knowledge with us. Um, but before we really wrap things up, I want you to share what really cool thing you've got going on in your business, so that we can go check that out. And then obviously where we can find you, and all those links that we'll post below. But share with us whatever really cool thing you've got going in your business and where we can find you.
Yeah, so Instagram is really where it's at for me. I have my website and all that, but Instagram is where I have my community and I just love being on there. So I'd love to see you on Instagram, literally, and you as well, Kendall. I know
People keep
Facebook is
telling me
your.
go on Instagram. I'm like, if I go on Instagram, it will not be at all business related, but
That's fine though. It's just such a lovely platform. So what I have up my sleeve next is I will be doing a free challenge pretty soon. It's going to be hosted on Instagram. I don't have the dates, but it will be something relating to like mindset or like how to get into the CEO mindset to scale your business. So
awesome. That's perfect. Right before the new year. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we will make sure that we get the links for that. And then just tell everybody your website address in case they want to check out what services and offerings you have. Just tell people your website address so we can drop that below as well.
yeah, so I only at the moment I only offer one-on-one coaching, 8-week program with me. Where we will fix your mindset and work-life balance, as I said. So my website is annafuru.com.
And very quickly, everybody, it's Furu, like guru, but with an F. So annafuru.com. That's a great place. And then your Instagram handle is annafuru, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me think. No, I'm like, yeah, Anna.Furu.
Anna.Furu. Okay. I was like, I don't remember the characters. Okay, yes. So Anna.Furu, but we'll drop that link below. And so you can find her on Instagram. And if you really, really want, you can find her on Facebook too, because that's where she has to hang out with me.
I am here. I am here. I'm just more of like the,
Yeah.
just quiet
Yeah.
listener and reader.
Yeah, but she's really fun.
Fun.
So when you connect with her, it's super cool. So anyways, so thank you so much again, Anna, for sharing yourself with us, sharing your time, your knowledge and your journey with us. I really appreciated that. Make sure everybody go below to the links and you check out her her website and the details for the next challenge that she's running here very soon, as well as definitely follow her, check her out and follow her on Instagram and see all the lovely things she shares there. Thank you everybody else for joining us and tuning in for another Sparkle and Shine interview series. I again am Kendall Patton of New Oregon Content Creation Services, where I work with entrepreneurs and business owners to repurpose their content so that they can maximize their time, energy, and leverage the leverage the content. Woo. I have to mess up every single every single one, and leverage the content that you've already created in your business. So thank you again, everybody. I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you again, Anna. I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and we will see you again next time.